One thing I've always come away with in this discussion about aggregators is they're a tool. They're a tool that we use. And as Ron says in his piece early on, he says it's not so much about the aggregators, but the people who use them. I agree with that. It's really not so much about the tool as it is the way you use it. And I think that's a key concern of Ron's. How are people using these tools, and are they somehow being fooled into believing that they're being quite informed when really all they're doing is accumulating the stack of information that they never read, they never absorb, and they never understand. And then Steve would argue probably on the other side that we don't give consumers enough credit, and that they're very smart and they know what they want, and these aggregators provide them the opportunity to really enhance their consumption of media, of news and information, and that they can use it very wisely. People seize on words that are very freighted, and gatekeeper is a freighted word. Gatekeeper implies a kind of evilness that the gatekeeper is deciding what gets in and what's kept out. And gatekeeping is actually a very legitimate and helpful function. It's a word that people use sometimes to, I guess, make a sort of an attack on the old media. We don't need you gatekeepers anymore. But the fact is, there are more gatekeepers now than ever, and people like Steve Masiclat are benefiting greatly from gatekeepers. Now, the gatekeeper might be a person like me, and I'm seeing a lot of news and information, and I'm gatekeeping that, and some of it I'm passing to Steve, and some of it I'm keeping back. And I'm being a gatekeeper. Steve is a gatekeeper. Old media is a gatekeeper. So, there are more gatekeepers now than ever before. Now, there's another concern out there on both sides regarding the credibility of information, and how do I know what my friend is sending me is legitimate information, is credible information, because maybe I don't know where he got it, or perhaps it was passed to him by someone who passed it to them, and it came to them from someone else, and so on and so forth. But that's another argument, worry that I don't think is a new one. It's an old argument at a new time. As Ron himself would say, it's more about the consumer now than it is about the network and the information chain that information is following. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we had the same problem, if you will, and people have always looked for information that matches their personal beliefs. And you see that today even with people who may not be that plugged in, but they still, wherever they get their information and whomever they get it from, so many people tend to look for information sources that match their ideology or what they already believe, because our news consumption can be a very affirming thing.